Hello, Capricorn. How's everybody doing? Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. This little guy said we have to go on one more walk, and when Apollo speaks, I listen. So I thought I'd bring him up for a second since he's animated and in a good mood, and I have a little snack for him here, which he smells. So let me give him the snack, and then we'll get started. Here you go, buddy. It's a good boy. All right. So, welcome everybody. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is going to be your monthly reading. As always, you can use it for your sun, rising, and moon. You can also use it for Venus or any part of your chart that you happen to know, but we will go into sun, rising, and moon a little bit later. Excuse me, and we always like to begin with channeled messages here. I'll pull up that presentation while I'm talking. Just a quick note, if you're brand new and you like what you see on this channel, please drop me a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. I have a very predictable schedule in so far as the days that I go live, but on a day like today, because like yesterday I did 3 readings, I thought we'll start a little bit later. So notifications are more important than they used to be, so definitely turn that on. You can also follow me across my different social media platforms where I will post updates and recaps, so if you miss something, you'll know that I put a video up that day. If you'd like to give back, you can do that through SuperStickers, Super Chat, and also through memberships. And we're overdue for a Q&A, so I'll probably do something like that soon, where I'll extend it to patron supporters and also members here as well. A reminder, I do not and will not offer private readings. I have no plans for doing that in the future. I want to do more content here, podcasts, other types of developments. So I see a lot of questions. No, we're going to do more here. And if anyone offers you private readings or services or products in direct messages, full stop, it's not me. So I just want to put that out there so there's no hesitation, no pause, and I say it every video so that everybody is well armed with information, okay? All right, so we're going to begin, like I said, with the channeled messages. Now, this comes to me in dreams oftentimes, and I had 2 very specific messages that came through today. Wisteria and Moonstone. And I've never done those before as totems and not really things that I'm overly familiar with, but I'll break it down for you what I researched this morning and how that may be relevant to the month ahead for you. And then we'll get into the forecast. I was reading, by the way, some of the feedback on like what's coming through, like what you would like me to do. Some people say my intro is too long. This isn't an intro. This is actually me working as a medium, getting information for you. So the reading's beginning now, and the same way that I would use a tarot card and give you information, this is it. So you may look at Wisteria and Moonstone and think, what? But they have very interesting things about them, just like the Ace of Swords or the Queen of Pentacles. So that's what this section is. I use objects through metaphysics, basically I'm getting it in dreams, and then I interpret it for you, dream interpretation. It's a form of divination. So I start with this divination, then I move with cartography, with cards, okay? So just kind of informing folks that are brand new, that's what this section is about. The reading begins now. All right, so let's talk about Wisteria. It's a winding sort of, we'll go to this first, then I'll go to the quote. It's a genus of flowering plants. It's part of the legume family, and they twine up different sort of, trellises and doorways and anything that they can hold on to, basically. They'll twine around it and wrap around it. And they have this ability for all of us to sort of like reach great heights, and that's what I was going to show you in the quote there. More than we may actually realize. Hey, buddy, how about another little snack here? If you can find it, we'll see. There we go. So here's what I like about this particular totem. It is about reaching further than others can reach, going into directions that others may not anticipate that you could go in, and basically through your own hard work, through your own connection to source, which is why I featured the star here, you can surprise people. And this is what happens every day with inventors, with artists, with creators, with people that just basically say, I have an idea and I'm going to try it. And I'll show you how I can do this. And I'll show you why I'm going to do this. So you can surpass people's expectations. Now for the quote, this is from the Postal Service. Some of you may know the Iron and Wine version, which is a little bit quieter. But they'll see us waving from such great heights. Come down now, they'll say, but everything looks perfect from far away. Come down now, but we'll stay. I really like this because it's saying you may be comfortable there, but we're fine here. We're just good. Thank you very much. And everything looks good here and everything's solid because you're connected to source. So when I was titling this slide, I was like, Such Great Heights. I was like, oh yeah, that old Postal Service song. Really cool song if you haven't heard it, by the way. And then check out the Iron and Wine remix of it. They're both good. But sometimes people just don't understand your point of view, your potential, or why you want to do something. And that is their sort of loss and your gain, okay? So this is a different way of connecting to star energy. Sometimes when you're in that higher perspective, it can be lonely, it can be confusing, but if it's authentic, you're going to find some other stars in the constellation of energy that you're in, and it'll eventually brighten up. Just like the night sky. It's dim at first, you can't see all the stars, and then as the canopy of darkness falls upon the land, all the stars peer through. All right? So be one of those stars. Don't be the people on the lands trying to kind of like pull the stars down. It's interesting, as I walked Apollo this morning, there's wild parrots out here outside. You might be able to hear them in the background. And so they kind of remind me of the peanut gallery, just like noise. I love them. They're beautiful, but they're kind of like shaking all of these not pine nuts, but the palm nuts basically down from above. So they're making a mess. But sometimes people are like that. It's the peanut gallery that always has something to say in the background, and you just have to sort of like tune it out. And that's what I do. I don't mind it during the walk, but they make me laugh when I'm doing the reading here. All right, so the twining or winding or sort of reaching energy is a good thing because it connects you to the star. But if you ever see wisteria out in the wild, by the way, it's a beautiful flower. It's kind of like purple colored, which is the reason I try to wear something somewhat in the shade of wisteria. But beautiful though it may be, it can choke things out. It can hide things. So it is something where you could put the energy of the Seven of Swords or the moon with it. It can also be super controlling or constricting, and you need to meet it with the Empress energy. So this could be a person in your life that tends to sort of like wrap all their energy around you. There's a lot of things they get you involved with. It could be a boss. You have no choice sometimes in that matter. Except kind of communicating like, this is enough, or I've got my hands full, I need some assistance here. But basically pruning is what you would do with wisteria in real life. You would say, all right, you've gone far enough, we need to sort of see this, we need to see that, so you would prune it back. So taking a look at your commitments, taking a look at how far you've also promised your energy, time, and resources, and maybe pulling back a little bit on that, and focusing more on really reaching where you want to reach, because otherwise it's just tentacles in all directions and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's try to kind of train that energy up and make it something beautiful. And that is something that you'll do with roses, with wisteria, with anything that tends to want to go everywhere. If you can train it and move it in a beautiful sort of direction, then it's perfect. And part of this can also be modeling behavior or training people around you, like what your boundaries are as well. I'm using training kind of like just because it makes sense, but I would say the more important thing here is restating and reinforcing boundaries. I think that's going to be the most important thing that this particular totem is teaching us, because it wants to go everywhere and it wants to kind of control everything. If we were to reverse the Empress, sometimes this can be a person in your life very close to you, oftentimes a family member that has a hard time letting you go. Again, this is a grabbing, a twining, a reaching, a sort of constricting energy. So sometimes we have to free ourselves from the wisteria-like energy in our life. So if there's a person or an environment that is kind of like choking you out, you need room to breathe, okay? A nice connection, and interestingly very connected to wisteria, because I was looking up its mystical qualities. And the thing that kind of connected to me most for today is that because it grew over archways, it was often seen as a symbol of a portal. So sometimes we just have to take a step in our own direction into something new, into the great unknown. So the Fool card is coming through here. We're still on the heels of a brand new year. I'm reading this a couple days after a new moon. And basically, this is a great chance to open the door. We can still open it for the first quarter of the year and make a lot of changes. So this could just be the calling card or the final straw, if it's that constricting energy, to move in a different direction and to find your strength and your power, okay? Now, let's look at the second totem that came through, which was Moonstone. And it's kind of this milky mineral here. It comes from feldspar, and it has, I don't want to even try to pronounce that, but it's an optical sort of illusion that basically happens because light is scattered inside. So it kind of looks like there's this glow on the inside which is why it's called Moonstone. It's good for activating your creative and intuitive power and the divine feminine, so good Shakti energy coming through with this. Helps you get in touch with your emotions. It's a dreamy sort of stone. That's what I got when I looked at it, and it's very kind of like Seven of Cups, so intuition, inspiration, dreams. But when you look at the stone, it's not like quartz or a diamond or anything that has a lot of clarity. It's more about exploring. And again, kind of interesting that both of your totems today are kind of like unwieldy. They're all out there a little bit. So I like the dreaming part, but then you're going to have to take your own sort of energy and focus things and get the clarity that you need because it may be lacking, right? And like Apollo in the background, you might have to dig a little deeper, okay? And that's really everything today. I wanted to keep it short and to the point, but let's quickly review this and then we'll get into your Celtic Cross. So, Wisteria Moonstone. Wisteria, reminding you that you can reach higher than people may expect you to, and if they don't understand that, that's okay, because you're connecting, you're plugging into source energy. Don't limit yourself on someone else's account. You may need room to breathe. You may need to basically pull yourself out of a situation where there's not the ability to sort of like flex your own decision-making ability or your creativity. Pruning any toxic relationships in your life is going to also be important. Ultimately, this is setting you up for a new path. We're on a new year, right on the heels of a new moon. And basically, in this period of time, if you can explore, get focus, get clarity, all of these things are going to be important. So I'm going to give Apollo one more little snack, and then we're going to get started here. Hey, buddy, I haven't forgotten you. Sometimes what happens if you have little dogs like this, they're like, you're forgetting about me. You're talking to those folks. Pay attention to me. So I'm giving them a little love in the background. I already chose the deck for today. I actually used it in the impromptu reading yesterday for the new moon that I did. So we're going to use the Luna deck for now, and we're going to get started. All right, so thanks everybody for joining. We're going to look at the Celtic Cross. As I said earlier, this can take us through the next 6 to 8 weeks. So let's just pull the cards and see the energy. So glad you could all make it. I actually got a volunteer right off the bat. It is about sort of clarification and getting the clarity and information that you need. We've got the Two of Swords right at the center. All right, let me just get my display all set up here so I can see what you see. All right. Yeah, the impromptu's real short, by the way. It's 12 minutes. So check it out if you'd like to after this. Nice energy coming through. Very nice connection to our one card pull for today as well. Using this very same deck, actually. All right, let's see what we've got here. Ooh, we love that we got the star there as a nice confirmation that you're headed in the right direction. Just pull everything in a little bit so we can see it better, and then we'll get started. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's begin. Your catalyst today is the auspicious dragonfly. This is also a symbol of basically rebirth and transformation. The dragonfly begins its journey in the water. The card is reversed, but it's whenever I see a flying symbol like this, like an insect or something in the water, I'm not so concerned about that because it can find its direction no matter where it's headed. But let's talk a little bit about this. So it begins, has a larval state where it's basically in the mud and in the water. can spend some time there before coming out and being this beautiful dragonfly that we see here. So developmental stages. And so for many of you, it's either that point where you're still waiting to birth something, or you're letting your wings dry off a little bit and figuring out like where to go next. So I get a newness to the month of February. And for many of you, you're creating that sort of opportunity right now. So in the sort of, we won't call it a cocoon because they don't do that, but energetically that makes sense. Sort of cocooning the energy around you, putting that sort of chrysalis energy around you, and then deciding like what's next. What I do love about this, whenever I run across either a dragonfly or a hummingbird in nature, it's usually the universe nodding to me and saying, things are going to be all right, but you need to pick up the speed. You need to increase your own sort of energetic frequency so that you're not getting distracted by things, and keep on that path. There's also a transparency to the wings, or an iridescence here with this dragonfly. So being able to see through a process, letting people know what's going on, the clarity is so important. You need to be clear for what it is that you're trying to create, how you want to communicate, and how this is all going to factor out, and that's going to benefit you. Going to the center, that's why this card came through. The Two of Swords is in and of itself a card saying, I'm not clear, or I don't know. When it's reversed, it's usually saying, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to talk about this or ask you the questions that I need to get the clarity that's important for me, okay? I actually prefer Two of Swords reversed if I'm going to pull it, because it is uncovering, unveiling, discovering, inquiring. Basically, you're taking this and putting it into an actionable, discoverable phase. So that's a good thing. And then we have the Hanged Man crossing this, which is saying, don't move until you get the clarity that you need. And then if you're pausing because there's sort of shades of gray, you'll have to eventually take the sword and make the best choice on your own. So either pause and get the clarity. If nobody knows, go within and then take a step. But always pause and ask first, okay? Sometimes you're going to get an I don't know as the answer, or figure it out, or you're just going to have to figure it out. So ultimately, I feel like you're very well positioned to make this work, but it is just that initial pause saying, have I done all of my due diligence? And once you do that, feel liberated. I have a Capricorn placement. Mine is in my ascendant, but my sun sign is Libra. Both signs want clarity though. Like Libra, I really want to think it through. But once I kind of land on something, I don't second guess it. I'm like, I really thought it through. And the Capricorn side helped me do the research, so it knows too. So research it and then just be solid, saying, I did the best I could. I really did. And if you can do that, you're succeeding, things are good. Let's look at your deep past. Getting straight to the point here. We have King of Swords energy reversed. And this is about taking the action that you need to take, saying what you need to say, not letting people put words in your mouth. And again, sort of, I like the ability here to use that sword almost to kind of cut things like a scythe or a machete, to kind of say, I don't need this stuff anymore. Let's cut straight to the point. And that's it. Brevity, clarity, inquisitive nature, all of these things are going to suit you well. Your voice needs and wants to be heard by others, so speak up. All right. And that's really what this King of Swords has to say in this moment. And it is a very active card too. If there's anything that needs to be edited or revised, this is a good time to do all of the above. The biggest challenge as I'm looking at recent past could simply be motivation, competition, or basically just trying to figure out how to push through a given task in front of you. Five of Wands is really nobody's favorite in tarot. It's not as bad as some other cards, but it's just showing work. There's work to be done. And so to make work more palatable, a lot of times it has to either feel more creative, there has to be, maybe more teamwork. The main thing that I always see with the Five of Wands is a lack of efficiency. We can even see all of them looking at each other, kind of pushing all those different batons against one another, and it's a stalemate. Nobody's making progress. So if you can collaborate, kind of like if you imagine rowing, you would want to have all of those oars rowing in the same direction, not in opposite directions, because it creates turbulence. Now, you're very close to completion here, and you're very close to success. We have the Six of Wands in the crowning position, which is victory, success, progress, acknowledgement. It is a sort of lonely Six of Wands. Nobody is really in front of him. And so sometimes you have to lead by example, and that connects with the beautiful lyrics that I was talking about earlier. You may have a select few people that know what you're doing and understand it, but there could be a lot of people around you that are just like, I don't get it, I don't understand. So success is not necessarily what the masses think. Success isn't the gold star or the gold medal or whatever it is that you want to ascribe as some sort of like material recognition. Instead, it's a feeling like I set out to do what I wanted to do. I did it well, and I'm really sort of happy and satisfied. I can go to bed at night feeling like, good job. That's success on a soul level. Because when you leave the planet, your guides and your higher self and the creative energy that we call many things like God, it's not going to care if you got a medal. It's going to care, and you're going to care, like, did I make an impact? Did I make a difference? Did I set out to do what I wanted to do? That's what this life is about. So as long as you're doing that, you're tracking well. But do you have a good chance of getting the medal, getting recognition, doing a great job, and reaching success right now? Yes. Don't let it go to your head. It's in the crowning position here. Focus instead on the transparency, the clarity, and continuing to elevate your thoughts and your actions. That's the dragonfly coming through. And it's also an acknowledgement, and it's saying you've changed, and hopefully in a positive light, and that change is okay. Unconditional love means that people will support a change of direction, a change of heart, or the development that you've made as a person, and they're going to celebrate that. And that's what we have here, the Two of Cups. So there may be some really positive eyes or attention on you. So this is recognition. And this is someone who says, hey, let's partner up. It could be a business partnership. It could be romantic, could be friendship. But no matter how you look at the Two of Cups, it's a person that's interested in you. And they're either interested in hiring you, hanging out with you, dating you, or talking to you somehow. This is interaction, friends. So this is a good month to interact, to mix and to mingle, and to see what's going on. So whether you are partnered and it's more business, or if this is something where you're single and you're looking for a partnership, this is going to bode well. Whenever I see things like the Lovers or the Two of Cups, it's good. You can take that, and I mean, coupling that with Six of Wands, it means like there's good attention and there's good word of mouth, and people want more of whatever it is that you're doing. So in business, yay, that's great. That's success. That's getting good reviews online and things like that. And in relationships, it's someone who just really, they notice you, they see you, they recognize you. The Six of Wands is saying someone sees that you're successful in setting out for whatever it is that you're doing. They've maybe been waiting just like you. And it's like, wow, this was worth the wait. And that's also what this says, folks. You know, be yourself and be strong, speak out, do what you need to do, get the work done. And just by you doing what you set out to do, this is bringing in nicer connections here in the future. All right, let's take a look here at what's coming through for you. It is a month of movement. You have two cards of movement, no less. In the sort of soul position here that represents ego, self, soul, and then in the outcome, death reverse, an end to stagnation, a beginning of something brand new, the answer to that metamorphosis energy of the dragonfly. So in order to empower the death card at the close of this spread, movement is necessary. So this could include either taking something and putting it out for recognition or review. So proposing or pitching a project or idea. This can be sending out a resume or sending someone a message and saying, I'm interested. Whether it's for work or for social interactions, it doesn't matter. This is basically you steering the ship and saying, let's do this. And you've got two sixes here showing that the movement is favorable. This is the crowning card. This is what's required from you. So keep moving and know that that's bringing you in the right direction. This can also be moving something forward in your life, finishing a construction project, finishing writing a book, finishing a program that you're studying at school, finishing something of self-improvement. Finish what you started, but keep moving it every day forward. You may not be finished today, but you don't know necessarily how far you've taken this figurative ship until you see how far you've come. So just keep moving, okay? This can also not recommend, but it could also show something like, for For some of you, releasing an attachment to something, right? It can also be business travel, and it can show a physical move. So lots of changes, but it feels like you're at the helm of the ship, which I like. So keep moving in the direction that feels right to you, and keep me posted on how that works out for you. All right. Environmentally speaking, I'll take any of the court cards in Pentacles. I like this. There is somebody that needs something from you. I'm picking that up here. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. There could be a note, a message, something coming in saying, hey, where are we at on this? So a boss could be checking in on progress. There could be something that you have to pay up if it's a loan or something of that nature. But there could also be someone that says, hey, I want your help on this. In this case, negotiate this to your liking, because this person's getting more out of the exchange than you are. So that's why I kind of read it as like a bank getting a little bit of interest, someone else that might be getting a cheaper price from you than is necessary. So really make sure that, someone isn't using their friendship or their connection to you to their advantage. You can push right back and say, yeah, I'll do this for you, but this is my going price. This can be the discount if necessary, but we need to amp it up a little bit here. Or I need then a promise of X amount of work for X amount of time if I'm going to do it for that rate. So make sure that you're getting a good deal and that you are happy with this. This is also you asking for something you need. So let's just say in general, you don't have enough time, energy, or support to get a given task done. This is outspoken and it's fact-based, and it would basically say, this is what's possible, this is what you're asking for, here's how we fix it. Are you willing and ready? Or here's some proposals for how this can be done. But you just asking for this, it won't happen unless we do one of these approaches, and then give them a few. So ask, but be very data-driven and very grounded, which of course Capricorn can be, and I think things will come together nicely for you. We had two cards that stuck together when I was looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the Boss card, the Queen of Wands, and right underneath it is the Nine of Pentacles. Independence, self-sufficiency, more money. That's why I feel like there is more money and more resources to be had. So the Boss card, the Queen of Wands, was reversed. Let's look at her in the upright position. As you know, I love this card because she has the capacity to make things work when they probably shouldn't, and when most people couldn't do it. Part of this is through creative outlooks. The cat represents intuition, creativity, stealthiness. So sometimes there's a way to kind of, I'll pull a little bit of this, ask a favor here to make this happen. She can pull strings. She can make it happen. But it's also bossy, and especially if it's reversed. This is a super bossy Queen of Wands. So the other thing she would do is just say, we're going to do it. We're going to figure this out, or this is what we need. So she's I would want her asking or trying to get something for me, because you have a good chance that she'll negotiate exactly what you need. So be the boss. One thing you want to be careful of with the Queen of Wands is that you do listen to input and feedback and advice and pay attention to the warning signs, because sometimes we don't want like horse blinders to get in the way. It's good to be the boss. It's good to be in charge. But if someone's trying to warn you or give you a heads up of something, you don't want to sort of steamroll over that. If you have a boss or someone in your life that's doing that, find a way if you can to say, oh, no, I'm 100% on board, but this is a concern that you need to look at. There's no sides, but I'm on your side. But if we don't pay attention to this actually won't look good for you. So I'm just trying to give you a heads up. And whether they listen or not, that's a different case altogether. Nine of Pentacles. This really is an indication of your potential. Although I saw wisteria, the grape reminds me a lot of the wisteria. It has the same climbing and twining sort of energy that it does. And it also requires nurturing and attention. So your finances are on the precipice of expanding, but for all the things I just talked about, you have to prune out unnecessary spending. You'll have to train your habits. You're going to have to say no to certain things. And if you do this, you have this potential to be in a really nice place where you're not going to need to lean or rely on people the way you have been. So I see financial health kind of getting in a really good place for all of you. So keep up the work that you're doing. Be the boss for sure when it comes to your money and your finances. And if you are in a love relationship and it's normally something your partner handles, there's no reason you shouldn't have transparency and or a voice in this. Partnerships are 50-50, even if the input isn't that way. I remember listening to a financial advisor, and basically they said it should be 50% of what you're making. So let's say there's a a delta or a difference between the two earnings. Maybe one person's, I'll just do like an easy math. One person's doing like $100 and they're contributing it for that day or something. And the other person can only give 50, but they're working an equal amount of time. Well, 50% of 50 will be 25 and 50 of 100 is 50. So we have 50 and 25 coming in, and that's the 50-50 contribution. You don't expect the other partner to give their whole check because, they're making half as much. It's half of theirs or half of yours. But together it kind of works out. So you it's on a scale, basically, the contributions. So the money's not so important. It's really like the two of you coming together. That part of it needs to be 50-50. And if it's not there, then this is what we were seeing earlier, making sure that that's something that's good for you. Okay. Now let's go to your outcome. In your outcome, we have the Death card, and the Death card is reversed. The favorable way to look at this is it's an end to stagnation. This represents stagnation. I think you're well ahead of being at that place where you're stuck. This is saying, I can see I'm not tracking or making movement there. How can I fix this? And you can fix it. It just requires exactly what we saw here when we look at you, movement in a direction. And it's interesting that they're both death cards. They're both transformative cards. And this one is about shape-shifting or trying something different, because it goes from that underwater version of itself to the one that's on land. So you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. For some of you, it is about coming out of the emotional piece of it. The water would represent the emotions, and getting into such great heights, higher ground, get some perspective, maybe a vacation, maybe talking to a counselor or a therapist, something that will give you the perspective that only space, distance, or third party sometimes can give you. That's what you need to be seeking right now. Okay. And whenever we do something new, it is a transformative thing. You are changing, you are shifting. It's okay to have some thoughts of mourning or attachment, but the only way to move on is to move. The only way out is through, right? So that's really what this Death card is saying. All right, let's expand this forecast and get some clarity and some focus. We're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, specifically drilling into those areas that all of you care about. I am not a replacement for a financial advisor, for a doctor, for any sort of counselor in your life, but I am here to show you energetic opportunities and give you some tools to navigate these things. So looking at your health card for this month, we have the Serpent. Interesting card here. So let's take a look at this closer up here. It is reversed. The Serpent can represent a few things. It is power and energy and kundalini. So for some of you with this card being reversed, there could be exhaustion that's setting in. And it just sort of feels like the energy is going opposite of what it should be. So take care of yourself. Have a better sort of handle on your schedule and your limits. This also can represent temptation or things that we fear. The devil is often connected with this, even though I see this as a power symbol. But if we connect that to this, it's basically saying, if there's something that you see in your life that frightens you or that isn't good or that you need more information on, then kind of look at eye to eye. We see the little skull here in the background, which connects it to the Death card here. So it's saying through the movement, through the change, there actually is positive results in your life, but you have to see this first. Now, the things that I like about the snake would be its ability to get in and out of situations easily. So there is that sort of escape energy. So if you needed to get out of something, you could. It's a good hunter. It's stealthy. So you can basically, your timing should be pretty good this month as well. Let's look specifically at some of the cards in the spread here and see if there's anything else with respect to your health. Obviously, the Hanged Man is saying slow things down a little bit. So if you are going 100 miles per hour, really take care of yourself and make sure that you have a little bit left at the end of the day to give to yourself and to other things. This is also connected with ankle, foot, and even like the shin area. A lot of times we can end up in inclement weather in particular, since Northern Hemisphere is experiencing that. Slipping, falling, tripping, twisting our ankle. Slowing down is the answer here, but it definitely connects to all of that. It's basically a pretty good read here when I'm looking at health overall. I would say some of you are just working too hard. Some of you are ignoring some warning signs in the body of something that you need to deal with. Don't, because it feels like some of you have had a close call before or you're on the precipice of that. So just Fix the problem when it happens, not later when it becomes something bigger. Eyes and ears are what I associate with the Two of Swords. So if you need to get those examined for any reason, do that. Otherwise, like I said, everything's looking pretty good. Some of you might be on the heels of a move or a change, and the change is causing some emotional triggering in your life. So this is really just about dealing with that. All right, let's move on to your wealth card. There's a little bit of duality in this card. It's kind of interesting. So it's reversed, but let's look at it close up. So if you look at this, we see two people almost merged together here, trying potentially to find out like where one person ends and the other one begins. So there could be in your money, in your wealth, partnerships, and business in general, like it has the potential on the positive side of you meeting someone that is almost like they get you. It's almost like you feel like they're a twin, because that's what I get with that energy, is like twinning energy. So you could find someone where you just mesh really, really well. How exciting is that if it's business or if it's some sort of an endeavor or even just friendship in your life? Isn't it nice to have that brother-sister energy? Some of you, this is validation that you found the right match for the project or for the friendship or for love. This could also be love, even though I'm looking at wealth. So some of you might find someone that just really is there for you. The only thing that's necessary with this card is proper boundaries. And again, establishing, maybe even from a legal perspective, because we're looking at money and business, where does one person's property or business end and the other begin? So really from the beginning, before you get too deeply entrenched in anything, lay it out. It could be prenuptial for a marriage. It could be a sort of like I forget what it's called, but a work agreement when it comes to hiring an employee. Just get everything sorted out so that when and if there's a separation, or when or if you need to grow it, you know exactly the percentages and all of that stuff. Lay it out when you're on an amicable basis so that it can stay that way. And otherwise, I just see partnership and growth and abundance coming through. This is pretty positive overall. The green energy all connected with growth, and the blue about communication and really being true to that. And the combination here, some of this is even the color of Moonstone. So opening up to new ideas, bringing new people on for all of that. I see some great growth and development. All right, let's specifically look at money in the cards. You have a couple of cards specifically about resources. As I said, the Knight in reverse in the environment is someone that's getting more or you needing more. So figuring that piece out first. When I look at possibilities, I see sustainability as the ultimate thing, but you have to be in control, understanding, even if it's not your thing. I don't love math, but I do have a handle on the finances. And so you have to kind of just know that, or hire someone that can help you sort it out. So that's good. If there's a change, it does look like it's a change for the better. So these two sixes, the Six of Swords, Six of Wands and Six of Swords, coupled with the Death card, a positive movement, positive change. This transformation card, seconding that. So let's see. What else here? Don't be afraid to ask. I think sometimes we're just so afraid to ask a question and feel like people are judging us. Like it's whenever I've had good bosses, or I've just seen good examples of leadership or collaboration, people will say, you know, that's an excellent question, and I'm curious about it too. Do you want to, how about we meet after the meeting, we can do some research on it together and figure this out. Or if you want to take ownership, you could just say, let me look into it. We'll talk tomorrow. I need to get some more information before I can give you advice on that. That saying, I will find out, is a better way of saying I don't know. Because it says, yeah, this is just say it's a good question and let me figure that out for you. Can I get back to you tomorrow? Ask for time, say that you're going to look into it, and then look into it. Or say, I don't know, but there's a person on my team that might. Do you want to bring them into the conversation? Because then you're seen as a person that collaborates, that knows people, that know things. So just kind of like, there's a lot of ways to say I don't know besides saying I don't know. Say I don't know without saying I don't know. That's the advice with that one, okay? Let me see if there's anything else with this that we need to look at. It is about partnering up. We don't get a lot of hermiting energy here. We get collaboration and cooperation. We get public visibility here. We get one-on-one partnership. We have to talk about money. We have to get straight to the point. Communicating, boss energy, partnership. You're going to be like a social butterfly or a social dragonfly this month, needing to go back and forth, in and out. It can't be all on your own. Even if you're working off-site, you're going to need some video conferencing and maybe some in-person stuff to get some of this done. But the good news is I see you getting a handle on money. I see new things opening up. We are in a point where I listen to the news every day. So I know that there's a lot of layoffs going on right now, particularly in the tech sector. So this tells me that you're going to be okay, that I see a rebound. Good connections are what basically are going to save the day. If you do find yourself out of a job, moving is probably going to be one thing you want to look at. Look outside of your boundaries or consider a commute. But it feels like you're going to be all right. This is possibility. And there may even be a step-up opportunity in the horizon. All right, let's move on to relationships. We have the grasshopper spirit coming through here, taking a leap of faith. Very connected to the Fool card when I was talking about portals. And the fact that we got the Two of Cups today tells me that some of you could be jumping in or out of a relationship. It's going to go one way or the other. The cool thing with the grasshopper is I see it as able to travel great distances quickly. So it's not so much about abundance as it is about speed and making up speed, and also like really surprising people with that too. So the momentum, the speed, all of that stuff happens once you've made the decision, once the light bulb goes off in your head a little bit. Listen to the Weekend Collective if you haven't already. The special topic portion of it can help you see how to take something to the next level and kind of connect you to your inner grasshopper. All right, let's take a look at 3 different aspects of how this will break out for you. So we're going to look at those in a relationship, those looking for love, those that are single and happy. The relationship portion can be both romantic and partnership, like monogamous business partnerships as well. It's just someone that you're thinking about a lot and connected to contractually, oftentimes in the case of marriage or contracts in business. Or that you're just saying, you've made a verbal contract saying, let's do this. So the most important thing for those already in that type of a relationship is somebody doesn't feel seen. One or both of you are not recognizing the partner the way maybe you used to. It also feels like one of you could be hung up focusing on business. One of you might feel like you're just waiting to hear back from the other person. And it could have also become monotonous or predictable. So the ways to kind of like break up the monotony, because this can be monotony, is speak up. Say, hey, I want to try this for dinner. Or we haven't spent time together. Let's carve out some time this week. How does this day look? Do you want to make reservations? Like, be the initiator, give them a chance, spend some time. It looks like once you do it, things, the spark comes back. There could also be a long distance relationship for those of you dating someone that might be in a different country or traveling for work. And so again, it's not that you can't do this on your own or they can't do it on their own. It's just that you need validation. So I think validating, supporting, and lifting each other up is what's needed, and a little bit of a change. Something got predictable. This is probably truer for the longer term relationships than the shorter term ones. Some of you may be on an interesting trajectory where one foot's out the door. 6 of Swords and Death card. So I feel like at this point it's, it can be a very harmonious exit because we have the 2 of Cups in the near future. And you may be tempted to stay, but if you're not getting what you need, it's okay. Either way, you can solve this by communicating and changing things up. But if there's too much to change, then I think there's a chance for a very successful decoupling if you wanted to do that as well. So that's my read for current relationships. If you are looking for love right now, it's a good time actually for that. By the way, with both existing and new relationships, there can be karmic lessons. So the Death card can just be the release of the karma. But what I see coming in for some of you is a deep connection from the past. Being able to speak your mind is going to be really important in this new relationship, even though there's this past life connection. The type of energy that I get is pretty compatible, actually. We have a Queen and a Knight, Pentacles. Someone that's very close to you. I'm reading for Earth, so this makes sense. We have a very grounded energy here. So there's someone who just, interestingly enough, because I'm talking past life, it could have been a sibling or a parent. And I know that sounds weird, but we do see the same people from life to life. We play different roles. So like your boss in one lifetime will be your employee in this one, and your child will be your parent in another one, or your sister could be your lover. It's just weird how it works. This is why we forget, because we don't really want to see all of those connections. We want to see people for the first time from a different perspective. What I'm getting here is very close energy. So marriage or family before. And what I see here as an opportunity is you're not taking orders or they're not taking orders from you, because this is boss and this is someone running errands or answering or beholden to that. So the main thing here, if we take titles and roles out, is basically just you're equal. And if you see that equality, and again, I think this also hits for those in existing relationships, equal footing. Maybe you have different amounts of money, different background, whatever. That's just like the clothes you're wearing. It doesn't matter. The soul energy is pretty equal. And that's what I'm picking up on. And the timing is now. It feels like any time in the next month. Someone in the previous reading was like, when? And I said, you really have to, it depends on each of you. I'm doing a collective. But then there's a Smith song, How Soon Is Now? It's like that. It's as soon as you want it to be. But you have to kind of like do the work and recognize the signs before that's going to happen. I think public setting is where you're going to meet someone, a friend of a friend. I feel like this person's really good with their money, which I like. They may work a lot. That could be the only challenge. And I think it'll be okay in the long run here. It's a change. It's a change you've been looking for, but it happens like that. And so that could take you by surprise. For those that are happily single, it's a good month, mostly with respect to increasing your social network and then taking leaps and bounds when it comes to your success. Finances and work are kind of going off the charts with the grasshopper. The two of you together can go further. That's one thing that we're getting with this spirit here. Together, we're stronger because it's like connected to the twin energy here. And we have very close sort of twin-like energy here. So I think together you can get further in this next journey. So even if you're single, you're going to be wanting to partner up, group up, and kind of get yourself out there so that you can explore and experience new things. Okay? Pretty nice actually across the board. I don't see anything here that's causing too much cause for concern, except just making sure that you know yourself, your partner, that both of you are saying, thank you, I love you, or I need this, so that you're setting one another up for success. You shouldn't have to pull out a deck of cards to figure out what's going on with your partner. You should just be able to have a conversation. I say that because for family members and people in my own sort of personal life, I don't want to have to get out the cards. I should just be able to pick up the phone and talk to them. I can do that, but it's not good. We should just be able to chat. And I agree, like in a loving relationship, you don't need to get out the cards. Okay. So let's take a look now at your destiny card. This is lovely, and it's connected to the first slide after the quote that I was showing you, the star. Such great heights. Other people may not get it, but you do. I love that this almost looks like a UFO. It's kind of like extraterrestrial. Sometimes it is way out there. You have to go way out there. Shirley MacLaine had a book in the 80s, I think, called Out on a Limb. So sometimes you have to be, as an intuitive person, out on a limb, leading the charge, Six of Wands, or, just extraordinary, which would be the star. And it's okay. And like I said, people down here don't get it. It's scary when you're doing what you're doing, but it's okay. You're among the firmament and the stars, and that's where you're headed. So I see a nice big opening for you. There is a lot of visibility coming through for you in this period. And so remember that the people that have been there all along will continue to be there, and you might actually also pull in someone that can help you with the next part of the journey. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the big idea. The big idea is a card that helps you focus. And that was one of the things that we had two totems today. Moonstone doesn't really have a lot of clarity or focus. So let's use this to get the clarity or focus. The Lovers. Okay. I love that we've got 3 cards of partnership. So just to keep the camera down for a second, we have the Two of Cups in the near future. We have in wealth, career, money, we have what is basically a forest kind of lovers card here. I could have easily put the title The Lovers on this and it would work if I was using like a druid deck. And then we have an answer to my question, how do you get clarity? You're not in this alone. You can talk to someone that you truly trust and love. And someone will love and respect and support you for exactly who you are. So hold out for that. Relationships are supposed to take more of a focal point for you. I'm asking like what should we get clarity on? What should we focus on? It is love. It is relationships. It is the people that you care about the most. And I am not a person that reads for love, but if it comes through, I will read for love. So we need to look at it. And when I do Reader's Choice in a few moments, I'll take a look and I'll say, what is it we need to focus on with love? Okay. So let's go ahead and I already read Single and Happy. Just rewind a little bit and you can look at that. All right, let's take a look now at the next thing. We're going to look at blessings and blocks. Things that can enhance, things that can distract. So let's pull a card each for that. Okay, so blessings, we got two. It's the Seven of Wands and the King of Cups. And for the block, we have the Moon. All right, so let's talk about these. For your blessings, I should say plural since we had two, I'll read the presenting card. Super handsome King of Cups coming through saying, you know what? You have charm, you have creativity, you have kindness. Why don't we use these energies this month to really pull people into your energy? You're also, guess what? Super magnetic because of all the love cards, the Two of Cups, the Lovers, and then the Untitled Lovers card. And so the King of Cups could represent the love interest, the partnership, or the admirer that's coming into your life. And I like it. There's nothing not to like with this. So be sensible, be authentic, be sensitive, connect with people empathically, show your creative and vulnerable side. And it's a divine masculine that can do all of that. It's so sad that men can't be sensitive or vulnerable or kind of let the walls down a little bit. So if you're a man and you're watching this and you're afraid to do that, it's saying it's all right. Whoever and wherever you can feel safest doing that, do it. And for those of us that are parents of children, particularly young male children, let's make sure that we normalize emotions, because that's going to help us with having more healthy relationships for the next generation. Little boys need to be able to express themselves. Little girls too. But like it's basically breaking down the walls and all of us connecting with a sensitive divine masculine, which we like. We need more of that out there. All right. What's coming through on this? Being pushed, being kind of like, again, trying to push someone in a different mold that they don't fit into. The Seven of Wands in and of itself is a card of success, defense, being able to basically deal with a lot of things at once. But in reverse, it can sometimes be people pushing you to change or be something that you're not. So be authentic to yourself. Don't feel pressured to change yourself in any way that is not going to be something that is sustainable for you, okay? You can also push back on unrealistic expectations. You can delegate, you can say no. All of these things would be a part of the Seven of Wands, okay? You got like 5, 6, and 7, so you're going to be going between those energies. You know, working and collaborating with others, leading the charge, and then possibly because of your popularity or your success, saying no to things that don't make sense for you in a kind way. All right, but this can also just be love marching into your life saying, hey, you're worth it. And we like that. All right, let's look at your block. It's the Moon. What I love about this Moon is it's very almost like Artemis, but it's very focused. Or if we think of like Katniss from Hunger Games, she knows what she wants. She's not afraid to go after it. And so your ability to go after something and release your fears is so important. It's divine feminine. So it's saying, I'm willing to put forth my energy and develop and nurture and see this through. Could take up to a month whenever we get the Moon card, of course. It could be until the next full moon as well, because we're looking at a full moon in this one. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. So in the traditional Moon card, you would see the lobster coming out of the water. We would have two animals kind of fighting or competing a little bit. And then we have the path to the moon. So keep your eyes on that path. to clarity, to completion, to whatever it is that you stand for, and don't waste time with the peanut gallery, okay? We'll keep this for now. This is something next month I might explore cutting out. I'm going to do fewer questions just for the flow. I'm going to start with giving you a chance to vote on a couple, and then we'll look at mine. I'm going to look at change and transformation, the death card, and I'm going to give you 2 options to vote on just to kind of keep it flowing. So for the 2 options to look at, how long, well, we're not going to look at how long, but we're going to look at the Hanged Man. So say, like, what's the delay about? What's the delay all about? So that's option number 1. And I think for the other option, it's how to ask for what it is that you need. So how to ask for what you need. All right, so you guys have a choice of 2 today, and go ahead and vote on that. And while you're voting on that, I'm going to take a look at the opportunity around stagnation or change or death, because we've got multiple cards, 6 of Swords, death, and the dragonfly. So what's the big message around transformation in this moment in time? Okay, interesting. So we've got the 3 of Swords here, and the 3 of Swords, it can be seen as a couple of different things. So some of you needed the push that you get with the 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords, of course, can constitute things like disappointment, rejection, or just something not working out. It can also be the discomfort that we feel in something that then gives us the internal permission to say, I don't want to do this anymore. So maybe it's just someone that drives you crazy, or an office situation where you're not supported, or one too many disappointments in general. And it basically says, I got to focus on being happy. Life is finite. I want to make sure that each and every day is lived to the max. So the change is, again, kind of like into this beautiful, you're allowing yourself to become the King of Cups. To be just really happy and really authentic and gently yourself. And so the heart will heal. And when you are ready to allow that to happen, that's when the doorway opens up for you for change. And I know that that happened for me too. I don't talk about it all the time, but I talk about it frequently enough. But my epiphany, I wanted to leave for a while when I left my corporate job, but the epiphany moment, and it hit me at different places in a very similar way. But the last one, it was a death of a parent, like a long time ago, like 2014, yeah. Yeah, it was 2014 when my dad passed away. But when he did that, I just looked at my job, and there was someone who was just rude to me the week or 2 after I came back from his passing. And they said I wasn't working hard enough. And I thought, how insensitive and disconnected are you to know that I just like lost a parent, and you're focused on the fact that you think I'm falling short on this project. And I don't know where it came from. That was probably one of my first channeled communications. I said, I don't want to work on this project with you anymore. And I'm going to tell the boss tomorrow. And I just saw them go white. And I decided in that moment I was going to quit. It was the 3 of Swords, and it was the best 3 of Swords because I'm here because of that. So there are different moments where someone says something and a light bulb goes off, and you're like, no more, enough, I'm done. Amen to that. So don't shy away from a difficult card in tarot, because it can be the beginning of the best chapter of your life. Breaking up with someone saying something nasty to you, a door closing, getting laid off, losing someone because you have to find your strength. It can be the best moment, the best pivotal change in your person, because the old you stepped away. In that moment, it's like, nah, I can't pretend to do that anymore. We're done. And it's strong. So if there's something where enough is enough, good for you. You're now going to be able to break through and enter into the star moment, okay? You have to go through things like the Tower and death and stuff like that to really be able to break through sometimes, okay? So that's what it's about. Let's look at what you want me to look at. Interesting story. That person kind of knew that they did that. And later they said, I hope it wasn't because of me. I kind of wish I would have said yes, but I'm not angry at you. But yes, it was. And you need to work on your sensitivity. I do wish I gave them that feedback, but who cares? I don't think they would have listened anyway, honestly. So, okay, what's all the delay about? Let's take a look at that. There are so many reasons I don't miss corporate culture. That's one of them. What is the delay about? Seven of Cups, taking off the mask, getting the clarity that you need. And the Seven of Cups was something that I featured earlier. So with this, it's basically saying, there's so many things that I could say about this, but the main reason that there's a delay is that there's too many things on the table. So if you have too many choices, too many voices in the room, that sounds good. Too many choices and voices at the table or in the room. All it is the birds behind me, chatter and mess. I love those parrots, but they're making a mess out there. So you need fewer people. You need to get the deciding people at the table. And I would say less is more, and maybe some time constraints and time limits on things. So this can be in any part of your life. So for you, if you're trying to look at options, buying a house, who you're going to date, what you're going to do in your life in general, narrow the pool a little bit so you're focusing on 1, 2, or 3 things in front of you. 7 is too many. Even 4 or 5 is too many. Today I had a poll of 2 choices. It was faster to figure out what we're looking at. Narrow the choice. You'll be clearer, you'll be happier, you'll be able to move quicker. Don't be afraid to take off a mask or to try something on. This is kind of like what happens when we get ready for a lifetime. I was gifted this vision into like moments before I came into this life. I saw myself with my soul guides, and we were kind of programming, is the best way that I would say it, in spirit. This is where you might live. This is what your family might look like. This is what you might look like. These are the lessons. It was kind of like etheric programming and architecture for the life experience. Then you get to decide what to do because you're a builder in this experience too. That's so funny. And Siri agreed with that. Siri said, okay, I like it. So be ready and willing to speak up, because guess what? Spirit and apparently my phone is listening. Too funny. The other thing with the Seven of Cups is ask questions. And I talked about that earlier, because sometimes you can lack the clarity and it's just a lot of voices. So less, more direct, and basically get the decision maker at the table when it comes to an important conversation. All right, let's move on to Sun, Rising, and Moon messages, okay? All right. Okay, I just had one that jumped out, so we're going to look at this as something special. That's going to be for everybody. I wasn't ready to do it just yet, but that's okay. Sun, Rising, and Moon. Okay, so as I was getting ready to pull the cards, you got a bonus one, which was all aspects, Sun, Rising, and Moon. So I'll leave the graphic up. This never happens, but it happened today. Sun, Rising, and Moon. There's a message today to push to the finish line, to finish what you set out to do. So basically, follow through on your contracts and your promises. And that's going to help you kind of really at the end of the day just feel like you have no regrets and nothing left undone. We see the bandage around their head, so really focus on how you're managing stress, and if there are any things like migraines or headaches coming through, obviously speak with the doctor or physician. But I will say, if I'm going to pull a card and I'm worried about can I do it, I love this one because it's the card of survival and sheer sort of like stubbornness and brute force. I'm going to finish this. And sometimes we need that. So all aspects, Sun, Rising, and Moon, you have what it takes to get to the finish line. Let's break it into Sun first. Sun sign messages. Surprise, surprise, I got every single partnership card, didn't I? I did. So we got the Six of Cups. Yeah, love, friendship, partnership, people, happiness. We like it. If you're looking to expand any type of partnership this month, Capricorn, please do it. The Six of Cups is very favorable for that. So this is also a connection to old friends from the past, maybe that you lost touch with, childhood friends, maybe even someone that you're estranged with, like a sibling, because this can be sibling energy. This can be deep past life energy coming through, and it's reconnecting with a kindred spirit. We got the star too. I got everything that I look for love, I have to say. So yeah, if you want to find someone, if you're looking for any type of partnership or love, not only can you find it, but I see a deep karmic soul connection with it as well. Kind of exciting. But I really would like to encourage Capricorn Sun to get out and socialize. If you find yourself to be a little bit more of a hermit, not this month, don't just try to get out with somebody that can be your extrovert, because I feel like you'll be an introverted extrovert. You'll be able to kind of spread your wings once you get out in a situation. So we need to have you be the dragonfly and get out there. It's going to be a good month, and people are a part of this. It keeps coming through. You're going to be better because of the connections. Moving on to rising and ascendant. Major changes, major shifts here. Work in particular. So for those of you that feel stuck in a job, I shared my story. It's a good thing. So if you got laid off, if you quit, if you're sick of it, and you know that you're sick of it now, good for you. If you have been wildly successful, because this happens with success too, you built up something and you're like, I'm bored now. Good for you. Now you know that you learned everything from that lesson. You don't have to throw everything out the door, though. This is maybe about finding a steward for that and then expanding your horizons, stepping into a higher role so that you don't kind of get mired down in the details. No matter how you kind of slice it or dice it, there's part of you that wants to go back into the fitting room and try something different. And that's fine. Good. This is really what the Tower presents us with, is a clean slate. And if you can empower the Tower, nice, it's a nice bumper sticker, empower the Tower moment, then what it really means is saying, yeah, I didn't expect to feel it, but I feel it. So what am I going to do about it? When I empowered my Tower, I basically decided about 6 to 8 months in advance of the stop date that I would quit. I had decided 2 years earlier that I was kind of done, but I was paying off bills. I was waiting for some sign, and it was that moment. But then I needed to be smart about the timelines. And I was like, all right, I would love to just go now, but I'm going to wait 6 months or 8 months. I can't remember. It's been too long, folks. And I try not to remember too much about that period. But I decided, and I gave the universe clarity. I said, don't worry, I'm getting out of here. So nothing additional had to happen. And I stuck to it. I remember talking to a metaphysical advisor that I had, and they reminded me that I really needed to keep my promise to myself to leave. They equated it to a connecting flight. They said, if you miss this, I don't know when the next one's coming. And that kind of woke me up. So I, as hard as it was to deliver my truth in the form of a letter of resignation, I did it. So, but I thought it through. I circled the date on the calendar months before, and I kept the date with destiny, and that's what the Tower is. But you're creating it. You can create it and control it. And it's still going to be a Tower moment for you, but it's so much better when you say, I quit, or let's get married, or let's do this, and it changes everything. Because it can be good towers too. An engagement is a Tower. Graduation is a Tower. Birth is a Tower. Because everything you were before changes the minute that baby comes into your life, or a pet comes into your life, or a lover comes into your life, or someone that you love leaves your life. Because you're different in an instant, right? In an instant. Okay. But it's exciting. So I want you to get excited about the Tower and empower your movement so you're not beholden to the universe saying, we need to do this because you're not. So you be the agent of change. That's my advice for Ascendant, particularly with work and life trajectory. Page of Cups. We're looking at moon sign here. In reverse. Are you happy? What do you want? How do you feel? That's what the universe is asking you. Your reaction to that is going to then direct you on a certain path. Yes, love can come in because we keep getting this card time and again. So a Page of Cups upright is, of course, a love card. I basically have gotten every Cups card that I could. The King of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Lovers. And the Six of Cups. So yeah, you're very open to partnering, but there is something you need to work on with your feelings first. How do you feel? How much have you been taking on emotionally from other things in your life? Have you given yourself time to celebrate, to relax, to grieve? Whatever it is that you've been sort of bottling up. Whenever I get a Court card in Cups reverse, it's saying, I need to get that out first. I need to exercise that before I bring this new Six of Cups or this new Two of Cups or this whatever it is in my life. Okay? So take care of yourself. Express yourself. Get in touch with the the sensitivity and sensibility in your life, and that's going to empower you to say, yes, I'm ready. Yes, I see this opportunity. Let's do it. That's everything, folks. We have one more part that we'll be looking at today, which is the meditation, sound bath, and final card. With the final card, this is your chance to ask me something that I haven't already looked at today. So it can be any question. All I ask is that you keep it to yourself and meditate on it until I've pulled the card. Then you can share in chat what kind of how that factored out for you. Before I do it, do me a favor, like and subscribe. We're close to almost 340, so let's get it to that. When I get to 350, I try to do something on like the 50s or 25s. I'll do something special, so we're close. We're maybe a couple months away from that, and I'll do like another big Q&A for that. All right, join me on social media if you haven't already, and thank you in advance for anybody that's given back. I'll say your name at the end. All right, for not final card just yet. We're going to do the meditation. That's coming. Preview. I want to help you with the change. I want to help you move through the sort of wisteria-lined portal that leads to transformation. So that's why wisteria came through. It was really the portal energy. And the coloring of it, kind of lavender and purple, protective spiritual energies as well, which is why I tried to find something in the lavender shade today. So let's imagine that you are at this beautiful gateway where light, prismatic light is shining through. In your hand, you're holding this beautiful moonstone. It's a round, polished moonstone, and you can see this beautiful iridescence on the inside. And you hold that close to your heart. And there's this beautiful wisteria that is fragrant and gorgeous that also seems to almost be lighting up from the inside. So all these little bells of light, beautiful purple and lavender light, lining this swirling portal in front of you. What I'd like for you to do is to set a single intention. What is it that you want to see move forward in your life? And I'm not going to even suggest it. That's up to you. What do you want to see move forward? What do you want to see come towards you? Or what do you want to let go of? Just something that you want to see progress on. Imagine now as I play the singing bowl that you see it take shape. And in addition to that, you can close your eyes because you know this is really a vision and take a step through it and see what the universe is telling you what your next step should be. So I'm helping you take your first step by making a decision and opening up. You're going to do the rest. Your guides are going to help you out. I'm just here to kind of give you a map and open that up for you. All right, take a few deep breaths. See yourself now fully through that portal of energy. Feel a sense that everything's going to work out exactly as it needs to work out. Bring yourself back into your body before we look at your final card. Bring your hands together at the center of your heart. really just valuing your time, your energy, and your contributions to the world, and knowing that you matter. Okay, when you're ready on the next natural exhale, I'd like you to open your eyes. Take a look at the question that you wrote down, or remind yourself what it was that you wanted me to look at. Keep it in your head. Let's go ahead and shuffle the cards and see what the advice is with respect to this question. Three of Wands, it's a good one. Three of Wands in reverse, however. So we'll look at it in the upright position. Three of Wands is a card that basically says whatever it is that you seek. It's the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is saying get some clarity on it and ground it. And let's take a look at the traditional one, because he's missing an important piece. It's probably what made me initially... This is a weird Two of Wands. Normally we see someone at the top of a hill looking down at the water. And on the Two of Wands, you usually see a person looking at the globe. So I want to kind of compare and contrast. I think this person might be rushing to the gate a little bit. And the important thing here is to not only sort of like see value in what it is that you're doing, but also decide like this is how and this is when. I talked about my experience where I basically circled a date on a calendar and I said, let me really get clear on the fact that not only can I do this, but this is how and when I'm going to do it. So here's your traditional Two of Wands. He is up in a sort of like turret, but he is looking at the wands, and you see more greenery in this card. Here's the Three of Wands, where he's looking out and he sees that all of this work that he did here paid off, and you can see the ships coming in. So in this Two of Wands, he's missing the earth element. He's missing the grounding piece. And I think that it's good to have, and he's also not looking at the wands at all. They're behind him. Notice this Two of Wands. He's firmly holding on to one of the wands. So we've got something that's, maybe in the past, something in the future, you're in between these two. He's just not paying attention to it. So I think the important thing here is to feed the dream and to really find a way to figure out how and when. You decide that, not me. You decide the how and the when. I'm not here to tell you that piece, but I am here to say that a little bit more grounding, a little bit more ownership and believing of whatever it is that you want to do. And then, yes, I see it happening. It's still a good card. It's also saying don't forget to dream. Always make time to dream and to explore, and give yourself the chance to sort of figure out where you're going before you go. In the same way that you wouldn't take a road trip without a GPS on your phone or an old-fashioned map, because what if you take a wrong turn? Also, you normally map it out. So if I'm going to go see a friend across town, nowadays we would just go into our phone or into Google Maps or whatever map service you're using, and you're just like, which route should I take? Which highway? Okay, we'll do that. Sounds good. You get up in the morning, you see where the traffic is, you make adjustments. Same thing if you're going to travel across the world or something, you're going to look at what costs the most, what's going to take the longest time. Should I go by plane? Should I go by boat or train? You figure that out. If you don't, you can still get there, but it might cost more and take more time. So be smart about mapping it out. That's my advice. Map it out. Okay? That, my friends, is everything for today. It was a really beautiful reading, I have to say. Super connected. One thing that's made a difference this year is I do it when I'm ready. So if I need an extra 15 minutes or an extra hour or two, I do it when I'm really tuned in. So that's something I'm going to keep doing, because I can give you better quality readings if I do that. Do me a favor and like, subscribe, and share this. Let some other people know what I do. I think some people are afraid because of the time frame that I do it in. And I do see that as a consistent piece. A lot of people were just straightforward and they say you talk too much or it's too long. Other people say I'm intimidated by it. So what I'm doing is trying different things. I don't think that's the case. I think if you just for me, I'm always confused. I put timestamps on it. I'm like, tune in for what you want to. There's all these sections here. Is it that hard to click on a hyperlink? But I think what I'm going to try to do in the new year is I can try doing clips too, and putting some different amounts. Let me know in the comments below what you like to see, what times you like on these sorts of readings. But I am aware that for the channel to grow, I probably have to offer different things. Maybe offer an edited version of it too, because like it or not, TikTok has changed attention spans. So I am listening to your comments. I also know that I work in a certain way, and I really enjoyed the reading today. So as long as I'm enjoying it, good quality comes through. So maybe it's presenting it or editing it or putting it out there in a different way. I always value your feedback. So let me know in the comments below how you would like to receive it. I'll consider it. and we'll see where we go next month. I'm not changing anything this month, but I will think about what I'm doing. I'm doing fewer polls and less of that and less talk, except for what I'm doing right now. All right, I'm going to quickly say thank you to those who gave back today, and then we're going to wrap up for this reading. So the newest members, let's say thank you to that right now, to anybody that just joined. And by the way, put it in the comments when it's on replay too. So Barbara Moss, Barbara, Watch, Carrie Brown, and Eileen, thank you so much for joining and rejoining, some of you. The Empress, Vanessa, and Donna, thank you as well, and the Warrior Within. All right, a quick thank you to those who gave a super sticker or super chat, and then we'll all get about our days here. So no super chats today, so thank you so much for all of you just for being wonderful energy. Oh, there we go, Leans the Inner Work, thank you very much for that. And I see that I already welcomed some of the newest channel members here, but Barbara Moss, thank you again. And Watch and SL. I try not to make it an ad. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day, and I will see you again on, let's see, we're Monday. I'm live every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and I do a weekly every Sunday. In the meantime, you can catch all of my one-card readings on the Shorts tab. Everything else will be in the Live tab. And you can see everything outlined on all the playlists on the main channel page. All right, take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead, and thanks for being you. I appreciate it. All right, guys, bye-bye.